GloRilla just dropped 2 new songs, and the internet immediately started breaking down the numbers. Her track Special reportedly pulled in around 7,000 streams on its first day on Spotify, and that instantly became a trending topic. For some people, the number felt surprisingly low for an artist who has been getting major attention, while others argued it was way too early to make any big judgment calls. Meanwhile, Cardi B went viral for a completely different moment. She hopped on Instagram Live to give what she called some straightforward girl talk advice, and social media had a lot to say about it. The discussion around GloRilla really kicked off when a Twitter account posted the reported first-day numbers for Special. According to that post, the song received 7,444 streams on Spotify on December 5th. That number caught attention because many expected a stronger start, given GloRilla's recent momentum. Instantly, people began comparing it to other artists' first-day numbers and asking what it means for her overall trajectory. Some fans defended her, saying first-day streams depend heavily on promotion, timing, and rollout strategy, and that one number doesn't define anything. Others felt the modest debut might reflect a challenge she's facing with audience engagement. As the conversation grew, different fan bases joined in. Supporters of certain artists, especially fans of Megan Thee Stallion, used the moment to respond to months of online debates. For a while, social media had been filled with comparisons about who was rising faster or who was positioned to dominate next. So when these numbers came out, some users felt it supported points they'd already been making. A few comments joked about the performance, but most of the conversation focused on the bigger picture and what it means for GloRilla's long-term momentum, rather than attacking her personally. But there was already context surrounding the release. When GloRilla posted the snippet for Special, early reactions were mixed. Some listeners said the preview didn't stand out, and many felt unsure whether the song would make a strong impact. The feedback wasn't just about that one track, it connected to a broader discussion fans have been having for months. A portion of the audience feels GloRilla's recent songs follow a similar style, and with each release, people are watching to see whether she switches things up or continues with her signature sound. That perception matters. When listeners think they already know exactly how a new song will sound, excitement naturally drops. And for an artist still building long-term staying power, that can be a tricky place to be. Some artists thrive with one consistent style, while others evolve with every release. Right now, people are watching closely to see which direction GloRilla chooses. GloRilla also released another track called March around the same time. Some listeners felt March had a stronger sound and connected with it more than Special. Online discussions quickly shifted to analyzing the lyrics, with people debating whether certain lines were addressing general industry themes or referencing broader situations in hip-hop. Without assuming anything specific, it's clear fans were dissecting every detail, which often helps a song stay in conversation. But even with the added talk surrounding the release, the track didn't appear to generate the kind of numbers that would signal a major breakout moment. One thing that nearly everyone agrees on is GloRilla's strength in visuals. Even people who weren't fully sold on the songs themselves acknowledged that her music videos were polished, creative, and full of energy. The video for March showcased choreography, distinct set designs, and a cinematic look that made it clear there was real effort and investment behind the project. Viewers pointed out scenes they liked, complimented the styling, and appreciated the production value. The video for Special received similar praise. GloRilla looked confident, the choreography was sharp, and the overall presentation felt well-crafted. But this is where the disconnect appears. Strong visuals can support a song, but they can't fully carry it if listeners aren't connecting with the music itself. A great video boosts visibility, but streaming platforms ultimately reflect how often people return to the track on their own. The ongoing criticism that GloRilla's music is becoming too predictable is something she'll eventually have to address, not in a negative way, but as a natural part of artistic growth. She's still early in her career, and many rising artists go through a phase where audiences start wanting a bit more range or experimentation. Some artists build entire careers off a signature sound, while others reinvent themselves to keep fans engaged. Right now, GloRilla is in that in-between stage where listeners recognize her instantly, but they're hoping to hear something new. That early career pressure isn't uncommon, but it becomes important when people start shifting from excitement to expectation. To maintain momentum, she'll need to decide whether to refine her signature style or expand it in a way that surprises her audience. While GloRilla was navigating conversations about streaming numbers and artistic direction, Cardi B was creating a separate viral moment through her Instagram Live. She started what she called a real, unfiltered girl talk session, sharing her perspective on complicated dating situations, especially scenarios where someone becomes involved with a man who already has a partner. Cardi made it clear she wasn't speaking about her own life, nor was she addressing any specific person. Instead, she was talking generally based on what she's seen happen over the years. Her main message was that trying to create tension in someone else's relationship rarely leads to the outcome a person hopes for. Cardi explained that even if the original relationship ends, it doesn't automatically mean the man shifts into something serious with the other woman. In many cases, the situation becomes messy, communication breaks down, and no one ends up getting what they wanted. Her tone was direct, which is exactly what her audience expects, but the core of her message was cautionary rather than confrontational. The internet reacted immediately, and the responses were mixed. Some viewers felt Cardi was speaking from experience and giving realistic, hard-earned advice that many people could relate to. Others questioned whether she was the ideal person to give relationship guidance, given how public and complicated her own relationship history has been. Even with those mixed reactions, the clip spread extremely fast, proving once again that anything Cardi says tends to spark a broader conversation, whether people agree with her or not. What's interesting is how these two moments, GloRilla's music discussion and Cardi's viral advice, highlight the different stages artists go through in the industry. GloRilla is still in the phase of defining her long-term identity, where every release shapes the public's understanding of her sound and potential. Her challenge right now is figuring out how to keep fans excited and show growth without losing what makes her unique. Cardi B, on the other hand, is navigating life as someone who has already achieved massive success, where her personal thoughts, comments, and off-the-cuff advice can trend just as much as her music. She faces a different kind of pressure, the scrutiny that comes with being widely known and constantly discussed, even when she's not talking about her own life. Both artists are dealing with very real but very different versions of the spotlight. GloRilla is working to build momentum in a crowded industry, where listeners move fast and expectations shift quickly. Cardi is balancing her public persona with the reality that anything she says can become headline material. In the end, these two stories reflect how unpredictable the music world can be. Artists have to navigate public perception, fan expectations, and internet commentary, all while continuing to show up creatively. And whether someone is rising or already established, the pressure doesn't really disappear, it just changes shape.